Let's just wait to 2 minutes, then I'll begin. Today I decided to sit outside, but my dear. Ooh. Be still and know. We're going to start at 2 minutes, so 1 more minute, then we start. Today I decided to sit outside. I wanted a change of environment. We'll start in 30 seconds. Hi, how are you? We are going to talk about toxic relationships. If you have a question, drop it. We are going to discuss it. Okay guys, it's exactly 2 minutes. Let us begin. So I was like, let me come and discuss about toxic relationships. You know, a toxic relationship, I'm going to talk about how I understand it. This is a relationship where someone is in control, like wants to control what you do, where you do it, who you talk to, what to wear, when and whom to talk to, how you need to talk to different people. As in, that is how toxic relationships could be described. So most people believe that maybe one partner could be toxic. Most people maybe believe maybe it was the man, but there are situations where they were both toxic. As in, you find like two partners, they were both toxic and they were toxic to each other. These people abuse each other every day. These people fight all the time. These people abuse each other all the time. You know, they control each other's behavior, but you don't even realize at that time that you're actually toxic. You know, you display controlling behavior. You want to control this person. You want to control whom they talk to, what they wear, when they go out, whom they go out with. As in, that is like how I can easily describe a toxic person. You know, but once you discover you're in a toxic relationship, you don't have to just leave that person, you know, just like that. Because in most cases, people who are toxic, they have anger issues, you know, they have insecurity issues, they are insecure about themselves, they are angry, and that person can easily harm you. You know, someone can easily harm you. Someone can easily harm you when you're in that toxic relationship. So you need to be careful. And then sometimes in society we think, hi Skyline, how are you? In society, sometimes we think that it's always the men who are toxic. But even women can be really, really toxic and controlling, you know? So you need to figure out, you need to stand and figure out this kind of relationship that I'm in. Is it toxic? Is it healthy? Every time you're going to meet the person, are you anxious? Like, maybe you're always worried. What are they going to do next? What are they going to say next? You know, sometimes you always go out on dates. You find yourself that people who started out happy, you always end up arguing. And before you know it, it's going to affect your mental health. You know, you're not going to be able to think clearly. You're not going to be productive clearly. You know, you're not going to be able to do the things you used to do how you need to do them, because of this toxic relationship. And sometimes people who are toxic hi Fahad, you're welcome. Hi Ruth, you're welcome. Yes, I am Ugandan. You say that this is a Ugandan accent. Yes, it is a Ugandan accent. I am Ugandan and I'm currently in Uganda. So I was talking about toxic relationships and how you can help yourself and get out of them, or realize that you're in a toxic relationship. You know, these relationships, sometimes those partners are controlling, and they're actually very toxic. People are actually very smart people, if you didn't know, but they'll know how to get you. Some people use sex, some people use food, some people, they have that manipulating behavior, that after they have been toxic with you, they are going to get that one particular thing that you like, and they'll perfect it. But that does not cover up for the other thing that happened. And in most cases, as women, sometimes when we're toxic in a relationship, we think that sex is going to cover up for what we did. You end up doing something, you disrespect somebody, and then because you've had sex, you think it has gone away. But with time, those things are going to pile up, and then the relationship is going to scatter, you know, in a very bad way sometimes, if you're not careful, or if people are not believers, or if they are not praying about it and they have the help of the Holy Spirit. So you need to you need to be very careful of such behavior. You find that someone can, every week you find yourself you're arguing with that person, but you're arguing over maybe something similar or something that is the same, you know, and they'll be very good, polite people. They'll be quick to apologize, you know. They will do something, they will say, okay, I'm so sorry, and then they will do what you like best. When it comes to you and you like sex, they are going to use that sex to try and cover up everything that what happened in the past. So you need to figure out that relationship you're in, that relationship that is stressing you, you know, that relationship that is stressing you, is it worth it? Because in the long run, it's going to affect your mental health. And your mental health is very important, because if you're stable mentally, you're going to be more productive for yourself, for the people around you, your children, your family. You're going to be able to be more productive at the workplace, you know. So ask yourself, that toxic relationship that you're in, is it worth it? Ruth Apio is saying you need to spot the red light from the very beginning. Otherwise, it can be so emotionally traumatizing. It is. You know, most people try to focus on, what do you call it? Physical abuse. But they forget that there is also something called emotional abuse. And emotional abuse is very, very serious. So a person who is toxic is going to be manipulative. You know, they will have manipulative tactics. Let me put it that way. As in, they can easily manipulate you, because, like I said in the video, people who are toxic in a relationship, they're very smart people. They are very intelligent. You check how they used to perform in school. But then you may find there is a trauma in them, maybe in their past, maybe when they were young, something that triggered them, you know, and they are insecure about something. And when someone is insecure about something, they'll try, it's like that being toxic, finding someone they can be toxic to, and that person keeps on forgiving them. It's like, let me say, like, it helps them like feel like they're in control, like they feel better about themselves, you know, when they are putting the other person down. Yet you're their partner. You sleep with them, you eat with them. They will tell you they love you, you know. As someone who is toxic, you will not know what character you're going to wake up with. I think toxic people also become narcissists in one way or another. And you know, society has put it in a way that we think that it is only the men who do it. But then there are also women like that. There are also women like that. Like a small thing, just, you know, they are off. You're seeing an animal in the house. Someone who was very sweet a few minutes ago, they are now like a lion, you know. Ruth said it is emotional manipulation. That's what it is called. Yes, because they know what you like and they know how to go around it. So they will do all their nasty behavior because they know they're going to come and apologize and touch that place where you're weak, and they will get you. You know, most cases the red lights show in the beginning. You know, maybe someone backs at you, maybe someone shouts at you, you know. The signs always come out in the beginning, but we sometimes ignore them. You know, we have this thing, the person will change. The person will change. I'll be able to change a person. You cannot change a human being. Someone that you did not grow up with, someone that does not have the same background as you, and you expect to change them, you cannot change a person. You know, when you see those red lights in the beginning, run. Let me tell you, I have been personally, when some of these live videos that I do, I come and talk about them, and I tell people to ask questions that they have, because I've been in a relationship where the man is toxic. I've been in a relationship where I was the toxic person I've been in a relationship where we are both toxic people. And this happens when two people, most cases when two people who are still struggling from past trauma. Cover the camera for Lamar Jackson edit. How? I don't understand that. Anyway, so the what was I saying? I've been on situations where you're both, toxic to each other, and this happens when two people who have come together to be in a relationship still have past trauma. You've not healed from that trauma, you're jumping into another relationship. You're still going through a separation or divorce, you've gotten a girlfriend who has a baby daddy that she has not healed from, or a past relationship she has not healed from. Then you meet, then you see trouble. If you don't cut each other's throats, it is by the grace of God, I'm telling you. Ruth is saying you need to be able to take a step of moving away from abusive and toxic relationships. Don't accept it even for 2 months is too long. Yes, it goes back to the other thing, Ruth, that I was saying, that someone who is toxic, they have past trauma that they haven't healed from. So when you've not healed from that trauma, you're going to be insecure. And when you meet this other person, those toxic people, they are so loving at first, and I told you they have that emotional, they are so smart. You called it emotional manipulation. Thank you so much. They have that, so they will sense you need them, and that is where they will attack. You're like, but I miss them, but they were so sweet last time, but they advised me, because they are intelligent, but they advised me to do such and such a thing, and it worked. But they are good in bed, sex also. There are people like that. You find they manipulate you, but they get you in bed. And then another thing is, if you attract toxic people in your life and you're above the age of 25, then it is time to figure out what it is about you that attracts toxic behavior. Take responsibility. Thank you so much. You have said it. Yes, the insecurity. You need to figure out, what am I insecure about? What haven't I healed from? What haven't I healed from? Why do people keep telling me to cover the camera? I don't understand. I don't understand. What does that mean? So, yeah, you need to figure out what triggers you. Yes, Debbie brought it out very well, but you need to self-examine yourself and know, what trauma haven't I healed from? What triggers me? What am I insecure about? Is it your weight? Is it the way I look? If it is something that you can change it. Is it your financial situation that you're insecure about? Are you having these negative thoughts that every man that I get leaves me, like it is a pattern? If you're a spiritual person, pray about it before you jump into another relationship. In most cases, we think that jumping into a relationship, that person is going to help you heal. That person is going to help you heal. My dear, first heal on your own. It is not good to put your stress on other people, because I believe everyone enters a relationship when they want peace, when they want love, when they want care, when they want someone who they can come home to, that can help them, calm down, to be their safe space. But if you're going to bring trouble to someone's child, please first leave them. Work on yourself. Somebody said here, hello. And then he said, I think that is individual. Some people want to move on quickly and cover the wound, but some people will take time, heal, and move on. So it is individual. Should I share this story with you? Jumping before. Yes, some people, by the way, the other partner, if they are emotionally mature, spiritually mature, and they understand this person's trauma, and they are able to go around it, and they know how to handle this person, and they pray. Actually, I believe in prayer, and they pray for this person, that can work. But if you're still toxic, you're still having wounds of the past relationship, you'll find somebody, for example, who is separated. You find somebody who is separated, and then you want to start a relationship, you're going to have problems. So you as an individual, you need to figure out where you fall. Should I first heal? Will jumping into this relationship with this person help me be better? Yes, there are people who have made actually like that and they got better through the help of the next relationship, and they actually turned it around and were very good people. Because some people are open. They'll be like, you know what, why I've been bitter, what was making me insecure, the last person cheated on me, this and this and this and this person maybe raped me, and then this person, maybe if they know ahead of time, they will say, okay, no, they'll make sure they never do. If they really, really love you, they'll make sure they never do what hurts you or what the other person did to hurt you. And that relationship can be very, very good. But you guys, toxic relationships, hey, they can they are tiring. They are very, very tiring. And when it comes to where both people drink alcohol or use drugs, that is the worst case scenario, because you're going to end up fighting even physically. Before you know it, police is going to be at your house, guys. Me, I have a past. When I come here and talk about these things, some of them I've lived them. Some of them I understand like firsthand, or I've seen somebody go through it. You know, there are some people who are used to that negativity and toxicity. Like they're so insecure about themselves to a point that they are used to it. They're like, this is my thing. I'm used to it. Back in the day, there's a girl I knew. She's like, me, if I spend 1 week without fighting for my boyfriend, I feel there is something wrong, you know. So that was her. That was her belief. That is what she believed in, you know. But you shouldn't be stuck in a toxic relationship, maybe thinking no one will love me. If I leave this relationship, who am I going to be with? It is better for you to be alive, than to be in a relationship that you're hurting. Your mental health is very, very important. Because your mental health, even your physical health will be, that's where you find people at 30, they have high blood pressure. And some people want to prove to social media, I don't want to, you know, someone be stuck in a relationship where they are being emotionally abused, physically abused. But you don't want to live because, what will society say? You're waiting for society to carry a dead body, Abby? You're waiting for society to see the dead body because you want to keep up appearances. But at the end of the day, it is your life and you decide what you want to do. But your health comes first. Your mental health, your physical health should come first. Because the people you're trying to please, they will bury you and tomorrow life goes on. You know, someone traumatized you. Maybe someone cheated on you. You were sick. Maybe you're stuck in the house. Somebody refused to take care of you. Is someone who sees you when you're sick and you're in the house and they cannot even pass you a glass of water. What is that person wishing for you? That person is wishing for you death. That person is wishing for you to die. And then after, when things go bad, they walk out. Someone who leaves you at your worst is not your friend. And is not really in love with you. Someone who leaves you when you're at your worst, who loved you only when things were rosy and things were fine and things were good. And then when things go down south, they leave. And then you're still there saying you're holding on to that relationship. What will society say? Society, at the end of the day, people don't care. At the end of the day, we don't care. People will bury you. Life goes on. That position you are having in church, at your workplace, you will be replaced even the same day. If it is your wife, even at your burial ground, is when people will say, let me give you your number. I help you with the children. They'll start vibing her at your funeral. So, what am I saying? Put yourself first. When you realize that, it even goes back to self-love. Do you love yourself enough? If you loved yourself enough and you know your worth, you know, you guys, there are insects here, and you know your worth, you would not settle for less. You would not settle for that toxicity. However much, I don't even know what someone can even lie to me about now. You know, you should not. You know, love yourself enough to know when to say enough is enough. And the world is so big. There are so many messages are coming in. There are so many people out there who are willing to love you the right way. You know, when you're toxic and you have past trauma, maybe rape, being cheated on, being beaten in a relationship, you know, being traumatized, you have this thing that, if I leave this person, they will not love me. And the people who are looking on the outside, they're like, that is a very beautiful girl. That girl has a very good character. You know, I wish I was with her. You know, there are so many people out there. Hi, Christian. You're saying good morning. Where are you watching us from? You're saying good morning. Here it's good evening. It's 5:36 p.m. What time is it where you are? Good morning. Nice to have you on the chat. We are talking about toxic relationships. So, guys, what I understood is there is always somebody out there who is willing to value you, who is willing to love you the way you need to be loved. But how do you carry yourself? You have to first believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, well, how do you expect other people to believe in you? You know, and people, you know, that negative energy, people can feel it. You can be around someone who is always stressed, who is always, you know, full of negativity, and you can tell, and you can know, and you can also know a happy person. You can also know a happy person, someone who is, you know, who is loving themselves and enjoying themselves. You know, this life is too short. I always tell people, as long as you're not hurting anybody, live your life, be happy, do what you want to do, when you want to do, how you want to do it, as long as you're not breaking the law and you're not hurting anybody. Some people say, I had a child with this person, I cannot leave them, but the man is beating you every day, but the woman is beating you every day. I learned to talk on both sides. Because men are also suffering in relationships. Men are also being beaten. Men are also being tortured in relationships. So I learned to go it both ways. Let me tell you, a child would rather be in a peaceful home. Have one parent. But when there is peace, rather than having two parents under the same roof, when that person is seeing abuse, torture, you know, when that child is growing up seeing those things, they will be traumatized. And what a kid sees when they are growing up is going to stick to their head. Let me tell you a story. My grandmother is anti-marriage. Why is she anti-marriage? Because she grew up, she saw people who are getting married being tortured in homes. So up to today, she said, I'll have my kids make my money, I'll never get married. Even though you sit her down, she's like, things of marriage, because of what she saw. But if it is happening in your home and your child is seeing it, that is the mentality they are going to grow up with. Kids monitor what they see. They keep what they see in their brains, and that is what they take on as if it is life. And when a kid sees a parent doing something, they believe that what my parent is doing is the right thing. What my parent is doing is the right thing. That is how life should be. So when my grandmother saw, I think there's a sister of hers, one day she came back home from the husband's house. She's like, you know what? The sister came back home. So they told her that us, in our culture, we don't divorce. But she came back with a burnt hand. Her hand was burnt. As in, she had a fight with the husband, and the husband put, I don't know if you know a charcoal stove, the husband put her hand in a charcoal stove. So she had wanted to leave that marriage. Here she is, she comes back home. Hi, Lucky, nice to have you here. Here she is, she comes back home. And they tell her, in our culture, we don't divorce. So my grandmother is a kid, she's watching, she's seeing, she's like, hey, this is how marriage is. Another one, she saw somebody who was beaten by the husband, and something really brutal happened to her. So as a child, what your child grows up seeing, you know, is what they are going to take on. So from that day up to today, my grandmother is around 78 years old. Her and marriage. And when she learned that they said that in our culture, once you get married, you can never come back home, that there is no longer room for you. She said, let me make money, build my own house. If I ever get, like, let's say a man chases me, I can go to that house. You see the mentality she's growing up with? So you, who is beating your husband, who is beating your wife, who is beating your boyfriend in front of your girlfriend, your boyfriend, both sides. In that home, when that child is seeing, that is what they are going to take on in life. That is how they are also going to behave, because they are going to think that is the norm. That is the norm. So, if you discover that you're in a toxic relationship, please run. Plan your escape route. Love yourself enough, value yourself enough to know when to walk away, to know when to leave that relationship, because there's someone else there who's willing to love you. I've told you, those that have just joined me, I've ever been when the man is the one who is toxic, I've ever been when I'm the one who is toxic, and I've ever been in a relationship when both of us. So after I said, then I self-discovered myself. I was like, oh, I need to change. Here and here I was wrong. But there are people who don't even discover themselves, and they just keep on with life like that. Or when they discover themselves when it's too late. When you've hit a man or a woman with a bottle on the head and you've ended up in jail, that's when you remember to discover yourself. You know? Or when maybe the person has died. It is very serious. You need to self-discover yourself. Because toxic people, they'll give you emotional abuse, they'll give you physical abuse, verbal. And they have painful words. Sometimes I think that sometimes someone to tell you something that is bad, or rather they slap you. But also I don't condone violence. Right now, I understood my value. I understood my wrongs. I understood that here, this is how I was wrong. This is how I could have handled situations. And now I said, let me first work on myself. You know, before you go and disturb someone's child that they woke up and gave birth to, work on yourself so that you're better for yourself and the person you're going to be in a relationship with. Lucky said, you sound like Ghana or Kenya. I'm from Uganda. I'm from Uganda. Yeah, Kenya is just next to us. I've never been to Ghana. I've never been to Nigeria. I have been to Kenya. My Kenyan people have been to Kenya before. Yeah. So I think that's it that I had to share about toxic relationships. And you can also have parents that are actually toxic. You know, toxic to you. Toxic to you. When you figure it out, man, you need to pray about it. Guys, if you're not born again, give your life to Christ. Because I know prayer changes everything. You know, because the Bible says don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. So if you take it to the Lord in prayer, he will help you. You find teenagers, they are still in their mother's home. You know, they're still in their mother's home. Their parents are toxic towards this person. They abuse them. They beat them. Whenever they do something wrong, you find they are drunkards. They are smoking, using drugs, but then their child is also tortured. Guys, we just need to pray for our society. But you, who is a girlfriend, boyfriend, they have not even yet married you. You're there in the toxic relationship, they are beating you. Check your life. Check your life. You say, when I leave the man, I don't know where to start from. From today, start planning where you're going to start from. Get a job, start a business. This online, you can come online and sell anything, literally sell anything. Start a YouTube channel, tell us about your issues in that relationship. We will come and watch. You know, don't say that you have nothing to do. When the man leaves me, sometimes you have silly excuses. We're like, when he leaves me, or when this woman leaves me, I don't know what I'm going to do. But your mental health is at stake. Your physical health is at stake. Maybe that man has beaten you, you've gotten a miscarriage. What if they remove your womb and you never have to give, you not be able to give birth ever in life? Then what? You need to discover yourself today. You guys, when I talk about toxic, I discovered myself. And I said, thank God I discovered myself when I'm not so old. Or when I haven't done something that could have landed me in jail. You know? You can say something or do something to someone. And you end up in jail. Jail is not easy. And you end up in jail. So discover yourself. Is it worth it for me to be in that? But you think about it. You think about it. Really. Your parents gave birth to you. They paid for you school fees from primary 1 to primary 7. You went to secondary school. You went to an international school. They flew you abroad to study. You came back and studied university. You went and studied and got a master's. Then you meet a man that is, or you meet a woman, and you allow her to torture you. Guys, let us wake up. Let us break their chains, and it's going to start with you as you that is in that toxic relationship now. If you've prayed about it, talk to the person, seek counseling, and things have failed. Your mental health. We need you alive. The world needs you alive. I keep telling people that if you're still alive on this earth, if you're still alive, you still have a purpose. You still have a reason why you're still on this earth. So, the world needs you, and your family needs you, and everybody around you needs you. Guys, I think that's all I have to share today. That's all I had to share with you today. May God bless you and be with you. Hi Yusuf, you've come at the end, but I'm going to upload this video. We're talking about toxic relationships. I don't know if you have a question. If anybody has a question before I log out, anything you would like us to discuss. If there are no questions, I'm going to log out, but I will upload this video for people who would love to watch it later. I learned a thing or two as well from the comment section. Yes, that is my take home. Okay guys, have a peaceful, it's almost the weekend. Should I say weekend? Yeah, have a peaceful weekend and God bless you. You know any single girl? No, I do not, and and personally I don't connect people to others. I don't connect people to others. Pray about it. God will lead you to your wife. Pray about it. God will definitely lead you to your spouse. I believe in that. I believe you date to marry. So if you're dating to marry, pray about it in whatever religion you believe in. Me, I'm born again. So yeah, as you have believed, may God do it for you. May God guide your footsteps to that wife that will love you for you. I am single. Yes, I'm single. Yes, I am single. Yusuf, may God lead you to your wife. May God direct your footsteps to the girl that will love you, that you would marry, and she will not be toxic, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Yeah, guys that have logged in now, we are almost coming to an end, unless there are questions, but I'll be able to upload the video after this. It will be on my page. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Bye guys.